Welcome back to Legion Builds, where we help you bring your favorite characters into games of Dungeons & Dragons. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel and check out our Patreon. Vote in weekly polls to help us decide video releases and receive character sheets of our builds. Today we are building one of my favorite characters of all time, the Guyver. And right about now, over half of you are going, what the hell is the Guyver? First appearing in Monthly Shonen Captain, the manga collection magazine, the Guyver is a semi-sentient bio-booster armor that once attached to a host, grants them superhuman abilities and powers. We will not fully go into the history of the Guyver, as that will take the whole length of this video, and I would rather actually just build it. I will say the Guyver has been seen in several animes, manga, novels, and live-action movies. Word of the wise, avoid the first movie, just watch the second movie, Guyver, the Dark Hero, much better. Once bound to the host, Guyver grants numerous abilities, including super strength, speed, agility, flight, gravitational control, sound manipulation, lasers, high-frequency blades, superior senses, regeneration, which borderlines on immortality, and a charged particle beam cannon known as the Mega Smasher. Before we begin, let's get some stuff out of the way. First off, no immortality. Second, no Mega Smasher. Sorry, but there is no D&D equivalent to a beam of energy that yields the same power of a small nuclear bomb. So no blowing off the tops of mountains. We will be giving you a replacement to this though, so don't worry. Finally, we're not actually going to be building the character of the Guyver. We are going to be creating a Guyver. This means that race is not important. Tiefling, human, orc, it doesn't matter. All that matters is you can now create the Guyver. Let's get this started. We'll be using standard point array, and we aren't multi-classing, so don't worry. Make strength 10, dex 13, con 14, intelligence 15, wisdom 12, charisma 8. Now, while this is not a true character build, we still do need a race for this video, so I am going to be going with a race of my choice. You can totally go a different race and just follow the same instructions and it will work. I'll be using variant human. Let's start by putting 1 into dex and 1 into intelligence. For the feat, I will be taking alert. This will give the Guyver 5+ to initiative, can't be surprised, and can't have advantage on it if the attacker is hidden. I will not be choosing a skill, as any will work for this build, so it doesn't matter. By the end, this is all going to have some pretty good stats, except for charisma, which will remain low. For background, we just need the skills athletics and acrobatics. For this build, we'll be going with Artificer. Choose perception and investigation as your skills. Now, for you who are fans of the Guyver, Sho and Sean did not build the Guyver, they inherited it. So, kind of going with Artificer is a little bit wrong, but it will give us everything we need to become the Guyver. Level 1 Artificers receive Magical Tinkering. This allows you to imbue a tiny object with a magical effect, such as shed light in a 5-foot radius, emit a noise, and more. It's not important. What is important is you are a spellcaster. Cure Wounds lets you heal 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier. Featherfall stops all fall damage on up to 5 creatures. Long Strider increases your movement speed by 10 feet for up to 1 hour. Jump triples your jump distance. Firebolt fires a small blast of fire causing 1d10 at a range of 120 feet, and this will eventually increase to 4d10. Thunderclap releases a blast of sound around you, forcing a wisdom save on all creatures, causing 1d6 damage on a failure, and like Firebolt, this will increase to 4d6 by the end of this build. Level 2 Artificers gain infused items. This lets you transform weapons, armor, and items into magical gear. Now, before we get into what infusions you'll need, we need to discuss how infusions work. A lot of people get confused on how it works, and until recently I was one of them, mostly because I never really played an Artificer. Over the course of the Artificer build, you will gain access to learn more infusions, a number of which can be found on the Artificer level chart. Next to infusions known is a column that says infused items. This is the total number of infused items that you are allowed to have. Many people I've talked to think that this is how many items you can infuse per long rest, but it's not. It is the total you can have. If you look at the rule for infusing an item, you will see the wording, each of your infusions can only be on one object at a time. Meaning if you choose Enhanced Defense, that infusion can only be on a shield or armor, so you can't just pass the infusion on to everyone in the party. Now by the end of this build, you will actually have 8 items instead of 6 you're allowed because of your subclass. I'll only be telling you what infusions you need for this build, but I will tell you how many more you can have per level. For infusions, take Enhanced Defense. This adds +1 to armor or shield, so place this on your armor. Replicate Magic Items allows you to create magic items such as the Goggles of Night, which give you dark vision. If you took a race that already has dark vision, then ignore that one. From here, you have 2 more infusions to choose from. Heads up, you will need Enhanced Weapon, but you don't need it just yet. You can't use it properly right now, but you can totally take it. Level 3 Artificers gain Right Tool for the Job. This lets you create a magical tool that you can use that really isn't too important. Generally, you'll have all the tools you need already unless you're broke and can't afford them. But this is also where you get a subclass. Armorers specialize in magical armor that helps them in combat. As such, you're now proficient in heavy armor. Side note, I'm not going to be taking heavy armor. I'm not your father, so if you want to, go right ahead. But metal really doesn't fit with what the Guyver is. If you do not take leather armor like I will, this will actually free up some stat modifications that you can take later on. Arcane armor magically bonds you with the armor you're wearing. It is now your spellcasting focus, can't be removed without your permission, can be worn even if you do not meet strength requirements, it extends over your whole body, you can use a bonus action to retract or deploy the helmet, and it will replace missing limbs with itself. Armor model lets you choose your armor power type. Each armor model comes with a built-in magical weapon that you can use your intelligence modifier for attacks instead of normal modifiers. You're going to go with Guardian as it fits perfectly with the Guyver. Guardian grants you Thunder Gauntlets. These are gauntlets that count as simple melee weapons that deal 1d8 thunder damage and cause the creature hit to suffer from disadvantage when attacking targets other than you until your next turn. Defensive Field lets you, as a bonus action, give yourself temporary hit points equal to your Artificer level. You also get special Artificer spells for being an armorer. Magic Missile fires 3 darts that auto-hit your target or targets and cause 1d4 + 1 force damage per dart. Now this spell has caused some debate on how damage works and how many dice you roll. It is 1d4 + 1 times the number of darts. That means you only roll 1d4 and add the 1 to it, and then times it by the darts. This has been confirmed by Wizards of the Coast on how the ruling works, but if your DM says differently, go with what they say. For each spell level you add to this, you get to add 1 more dart. Thunderwave releases a blast of sound in a 15-foot cube with you at its center, and forces a con save on everyone in the cube other than yourself. On a failure, the target takes 2d8 thunder damage and is pushed 10 feet back. Level 4 Artificers get our first ability score improvement. Bump up your intelligence for more damage and spells. For spells, Detect Magic allows you to sense magical items or spells within 30 feet of you, and you can tell what school it is from. False Life grants you temporary HP for 1 hour equal to 1d4 + 4. You can add spell levels to add 5 more HP per level. Now, False Life and Defensive Field do not stack. and False Life lasts for 1 hour, while Defensive Field lasts until you reuse it. So use False Life as a backup. Though by the end of this build, False Life will be able to give you 1d4 plus 29 at its max level, with Defensive Field only giving you 20. Still, save your spell slots and use False Life only as a backup. Level 5 Artificers of the Armor subclass gain extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single action. You also gain new spells. Mirror Image creates 3 illusionary duplicates that may intercept attacks meant for you. Each time a creature targets you, roll a d20 to determine if the duplicate takes the hit instead. This, unfortunately, can be bypassed if a creature has Blind Sight, True Sight, or any other ability that operates as such. Shatter brings your sound attacks up to another level and gives you your Sonic Buster. Within 60 feet of you, a 10-foot radius sphere explodes out, forcing a con save, causing 3d8 thunder damage on a failure. Level 6 Artificers gain Tool Expertise. Now, whenever you use a tool for a skill check, you double your proficiency. You also gain 2 new infusions. Spell Refueling Ring is a ring that allows you, or anyone attuned to it, to regain 1 spell slot of 3rd level or lower once per day. Enhanced Weapon adds +1 to attack and damage on a simple or martial weapon. Now, earlier I said we're going to need this later. We still don't need it yet, but might as well grab it at this point. And remember, right now you can only have 3 infused items on you. For spells, it's time to get your high-frequency blades. Alter Self allows you to do one of 3 things. The first 2 don't really fit into the Guyver, but the last one does. You can transform yourself to look like anyone else, you can breathe underwater, or create weapons from your body. When creating these weapons, you choose a damage type such as slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning. These weapons are 1d6 plus 1 and are magical, but use your strength modifier, which means your Thunder Gauntlets do better, but in a few levels we'll be able to switch these 2 out, and Thunder Gauntlets will still be better, but the high-frequency blades will be good. Sword Burst slashes at everyone within 5 feet of you, forcing a dex save, causing 2d6 of force damage on a failure. This will grow over time to become 4d6. Level 7 Artificers gain Flash of Genius. When you or another creature that you can see within 30 feet of you makes a skill check or saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. You can use this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier. Level 8 Artificers gain another ability score improvement. Cap off your intelligence. Lesser Restoration lets you end a disease or condition on one other creature you touch, such as blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. You also have another spell I'm going to actually suggest, even though we're a little early for this, Reduce Enlarge. This will give you your gigantic Guyver form by allowing you to increase your size by 1 category. This will add more damage and give you advantage on strength checks and saving throws. Level 9 Artificers of the Armor subclass gain armor modifications. This allows you to infuse pieces of your arcane armor with infusions, and they will transfer over if you gain a new arcane armor. These pieces are chest, which is defined as armor for infusions, boots, helmets, and your special weapons. That's right, you can now infuse your Thunder Gauntlet with enhanced weapon. This is what we've been waiting for. It also allows you to add 2 infusions to what you have, as long as those 2 new infusions are part of your armor. Right now, that means you have a total of 5 infusions, as long as they are part of your armor, which they are. You also gain new spells. Hypnotic Pattern lets you charm anyone within a 30-foot cube, incapacitating them and dropping their speed to 0 if they fail a wisdom save. Lightning Bolt fires 100-foot long, 5-foot wide line of electricity. Any creature in the line must make a dex save or take 8d6 lightning damage. This is the best I could do for replacing your Mega Smasher. It doesn't disintegrate what it hits, but it's pretty powerful. Level 10 Artificers get Magic Item Adept. It is now easier for you to craft magical items and lets you attune to 4 magical items at once. You also get 2 more infusions, and it's time to upgrade your armor to be the Guyver. Firstly, both Enhanced Defense and Enhanced Weapon are now +2, meaning your Thunder Gauntlet is now doing 1d8 +2 plus your Intelligence modifier, which is a 5. Your Leather Armor, if you took leather, is now a 14, but it will get better soon. If you took something else like Half Plate, you're at a 17. For your new infusions, Helm of Awareness gives you advantage on initiative rolls, and you can't be surprised. Winged Boots grant you a flying speed equal to your walking speed for up to 4 hours, and these are both part of your arcane armor. For spells, Haste increases your speed for 1 minute. You receive 2+ to AC, have advantage on dex saves, and gain an extra action. Once the spell ends, you can't take any action or move for 1 turn. Now I need to clarify something with this spell. It is a concentration spell, and you can't use extra attack with your bonus action. If you attack, it's only 1 attack. Level 11 Artificers gain Spell Storing Item. When you finish a long rest, you can touch 1 martial weapon or a spellcasting focus and place a spell on it. This spell must be from your Artificer list of level 1 or 2 and require 1 action, such as Cure Wounds, Featherfall, Alter Self, Jump, and a few more. As an action, the creature holding the item can cast the spell using your modifier, and if it requires concentration, they must concentrate. This item can be used a total number of times equal to twice your intelligent modifier, which means it can be used a total of 10 times. But you can only store 1 spell on an item. That's it. You can't create multiple spell storing items. Level 12 Artificers get another ability score improvement. I'm going to put this in Dex to upgrade the AC. Unless you are wearing armor, go ahead and put this someplace else. But be warned, do not put it into strength. We don't need it. If you want to take a feat now, remember that the alert feat is pretty good for this build. For your new spell, Revivify lets you return 1 creature that has died within the last minute. Level 13 Artificers of the Armorer subclass gain 2 new spells. Fire Shield wraps your body in a thin layer of fire for 10 minutes. When casting the spell, choose a type. Warm Shield grants you cold resistance and deals 2d8 fire damage to any creature that attacks you, and a Chill Shield grants you fire resistance and deals 2d8 cold damage to anyone who attacks you. Best part, it's not concentration. Greater Invisibility makes you invisible for 1 minute and will not drop if you attack or cast a spell. Level 14 Artificers are now Magic Item Savants. You can now attune to 5 magic items and can ignore magic item requirements such as race or class. You now have 2 more infusions. Your total that you can use now is 7, and you're going to want to take Replicate Magic Item twice. Amulet of Health raises your con stat to 19, making your con modifier +4. This means your maximum health just raised big time. At the start of the level, you were at 108 HP, it just went to 136 while you're attuned to the amulet. Belt of Hill Giant Strength raises your strength score to 21. Yeah, your strength modifier just went from 0 to +6. This means your Thunder Gauntlets can now do 1d8 +8, doing an average of 13 damage per attack, and your Alter Self is now 1d6 +7, doing an average of 11. As I said, Thunder Gauntlets are still better, but what is the Guyver without their arm blades? I don't care if you use them, I want it. For spells, it's finally time to get your gigantic abilities. Otoluk's Resilient Sphere creates a force field around a creature or object for 1 minute, protecting them from all damage. Warning, this is concentration. Spare the Dying lets you stabilize a dying creature. Level 15 Artificers of the Armorer subclass receive Perfected Armor, upgrading your arcane armor. Now, when a creature that is huge or smaller ends its turn within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to force a strength saving throw. On a failure, they are pulled 30 feet towards you, and you get to make a weapon attack against them. Level 16 Artificers get another ability score improvement, and if you went like me and took the leather armor, you're going to want to put this into Dex to bring it up to a 17. If you took heavy armor in that place, do whatever you wish. For your new spell, Stone Skin gives you resistance to non-magical attacks made from slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing damage for 1 hour, and this is a concentration spell. Level 17 Artificers of the Armorer subclass receive their final bonus spells. Passwall creates a passage through a solid surface such as a wall, ceiling, or floor. The passage can be up to 5 feet wide, 8 feet tall, 20 feet deep. Wall of Force creates a stronger force field that lasts up to 10 minutes, can be vertical, horizontal, at an angle, a dome, or spherical. Nothing can pass through it, it is immune to all damage, and it can't be dispelled. The only thing that can take it down is a disintegration spell. Level 18 Artificers are magic item masters, meaning you can attune to 6 total magic items. You also now have your final 2 infusions, and it doesn't matter as you are now a true Guyver. For your new spell, Greater Restoration lets you reduce a target's exhaustion by 1 level or end one of the following effects: Charmed, Petrified, Curse, Stat Point Reduction, or Hit Point Reduction. Level 19 Artificers get our final ability score improvement. You have choices. Cap off your dex for a +10 to initiative and AC of 18. Get rid of the negative charisma modifier. Bump up con wisdom, or take a feat. This one's up to you. Level 20 Artificer is our final level, and you get Soul of the Artifice. This adds +1 to all saving throws for each magic item you are attuned to, which means you're adding +4 or +5 if you've attuned to a spell refueling ring. You can now also stop yourself from dying. If you are reduced to 0 hit points, but not killed outright, you can use your reaction to end one of your infusions and drop to 1 hit point instead. Remember, you can easily replace an infusion once it's burned off. You also get 1 final spell. Just go whatever you want, you have all the spells you need. Time to dive in. There's a lot to go over here. Your total HP should be around 170, with an AC of 18 going my way. You're dealing 1d8 plus 8 damage with your Thunder Gauntlets, 1d6 plus 7 with your Arm Blades, all magical. You can never be surprised, you have advantage on initiative, and you're adding plus 10 to the roll, if you went my way. You can regain spell slots or cast spells without spell slots. You gain access to healing spells, you can craft magical items, you can fly, jump over 60 feet, and increase your movement speed to 40 feet. Downside, you have a lot of concentration spells, which is a problem all spellcasters have. And until you get your boosts, your stats really aren't that good either. In all honesty, your spells are not going to be a big thing for this build. Personally, I would hold off using spells until they are absolutely needed. You can also turn you into a tanky cleric without being a tanky cleric. Rely on your massive attacks and movement capabilities and lay in some serious punishment. Thank you for joining us, and remember to leave a like and subscribe. We release a new video every Monday, and over on Patreon we have weekly polls to decide our next builds.